Question number 2, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister and asks, does he stand by his statement that parts of the Gwyn Report are, quote, highly contested, end quote? If so, which parts are contested and by whom?
Mr Speaker.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes. For example, in yesterday's urgent debate, Winston Peters contested the Inspector General's decision not to interview me as part of her inquiry. Cameron Slater has also been in the media contesting the Inspector's finding in relation to him. Another thing that was contested yesterday but appears to be not today is that Phil Goff leaked the Inspector General's report and broke his confidentiality agreement. That's not contested.
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Mr Speaker, what does he contest about paragraph 154 of the Gwyn Report, which states, his then Deputy Chief of Staff initiated contact with the SIS to seek information about any briefings the SIS may have given to Phil Goff?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, nothing.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
What does he contest about paragraph 218 of the Gwyn Report, which states his then Deputy Chief of Staff passed a detailed description of the SIS briefing to another Prime Ministerial staffer, suggesting that it would make a good OIA request?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Wasn't there? I don't contest that may well have happened.
Supplementary.
Order.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
What does he contest about paragraph 218, which states that the second staffer...
Order. I'm going to invite the member to start his question again.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. What does he contest about paragraph 218, which states that the second staffer provided SIS information to a blogger, and that blogger then requested the information under the OIA while on the phone with his staffer?
Well, Mr Speaker, the point that's contested there is the point where Mr Slater emphasised that he says that he had decided to make the OIA request himself. That point is therefore contested.
Supplementary question, Tim McIndoe.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Order.
Has the Prime Minister seen any reports about the view of the Inspector General of Intelligence and Security regarding the release of her report?
Speaker, Prime Minister.
Speaker, I have. I've seen a report in which the Inspector General says that the parties who received her report were, quote, subject to express confidentiality orders made under the Inspector General of Intelligence and Security Act. I also saw her report that said the premature disclosure of some details was, quote, grossly unfair to others, that would be myself. Some of the coverage, this would also be about myself, was not accurate. I want to know if the Leader of the Opposition, he might like to answer this, condones the leaking of the report which Mr Goff admitted to on Radio New Zealand today.
Order.
How weak was that?
Order.
How weak was that?
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Does he contest paragraph 193, which states his then Deputy Chief of Staff discussed with the SIS Director the timing of when to release information to Cameron Slater?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, no, but I will make it quite clear though. We'll make it quite clear from the Inspector General's report, and I quote paragraph 225 where she goes, she did not find any indication of collusion by or direction to the NZSIS. I know it doesn't fit the narrative of the opposition, but the bad news is there was no influence by my office. That was the absolute finding. Our office was fully exonerated.
Supplementary question, Tim McIndoe.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Order. Every member has a right to ask a supplementary question without that sort of howling coming on from a couple of members to my left. Tim McIndoe.
Thank you, sir. Is the Prime Minister aware of any issues in the report which were contested but no longer appear to be?
Yep.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, I am. Just this morning on Radio New Zealand, I heard someone say that they did not release or show the Inspector General's report to anyone except their party leader and party whip. When that was contested by Radio New Zealand, the same person finally fessed up and admitted that he'd rung up journalists and given them a heads up, that would be a briefing, about parts of the report. But there you go. having admitted that, he did, I guess, what that sort of person would do. He blamed the journalist for running it to try and get the positive spin the day before. That person was Phil Goff.
Order. 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 Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Is the Prime Minister aware that Cameron Slater had already leaked the findings of that report over 8 days ago?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, no.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Prime Minister, why is he showing contempt for the report of the Inspector General of Intelligence and Security and undermining her integrity by denying what the whole country has seen in black and white?
Mr. Speaker,
Order.
Quite the opposite,
Honourable Prime Minister.
Quite the opposite, Mr. Speaker. I've absolutely accepted the findings of the report, and the findings of the report, unfortunately for the opposition, don't fit their narrative, because the findings of the report are quite clear. They say in relation to any exchange or discussions between my office and Mr. Slater, and I quote, they did not breach any obligations of confidentiality owed to the New Zealand SIS on the part of the PMO staff member. The information was not classified. She says in her report, and I quote, they did not find any indication of collusion or direction to the SIS over the request. She says in her report, and I quote, that I just found quite clearly that my involvement was limited only to one phone conversation on the 22nd of July. Mr. Speaker, what is quite clear is the report does not say what the opposition was desperate for it to say, and that's why Phil Goff leaked it a day earlier, and Cheryl Gwyn is very unhappy about that.
Order. Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Why won't he admit the truth? That his office worked with his blogger to use information held by his security agency to attack his political rival, and the buck stops with him.
Speaker.
Order.
Mr. Speaker.
Order. Right Honourable
because
Prime
that
Minister.
is not the truth, but what I will admit is the following truths. That I'm not part of a political party that went out there and impersonated a researcher to go through my personal financial records. I'm not part of a political party that impersonated someone to go to a National Party conference to secretly tape us, Mr. Speaker. I'm not part of a political party that leaked an embargo document. Mr. Speaker, Black Ops is alive and well in the Labour Party. That's where it sits.
Order. Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Mr. Speaker, why doesn't he cut the crap and just apologise to New Zealand for running a smear machine out of his office?
Order. Order. The question has been asked. I'll hear the answer.
Mr. Speaker, it's going to be a very interesting 3 years, and I can't wait for the debates, because if we're starting there, we're going to end up here. But Mr. Speaker, it's pretty simple. The report from Cheryl Gwyn makes it clear. The SIS made their own decisions. There was no indication of collusion or direction. And Mr. Speaker, I'll say it one more time. If this report was so damning and so much backed up what the Labour Party had said weeks before the 2014 election, Phil Goff would have let it run. But he ran right over the top of his own leader. He bumped him off the news.
Order.
All because...
Order. 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 That answer is sufficient. Question number 3. Nook